Hi. I'm gonna just talk you through doing the Haunted PS1 rendering pipelines because there's like no tutorials from what I can find. So this is my project at the moment. It's got it on. It is working. Apologies if the desktop audio is really loud, but you can see, especially in this, that they're in there. So what I'm gonna do is just really quickly open up a new project. Give me 2 seconds, I'll probably edit this down. Okay, cool. So we're in the project. Okay, apparently it's still loading. Okay, so now we're in the project. So the first thing we're going to do is go to Package Manager. Wait for it to refresh your packages. While that's doing that, in the meantime, what I'm going to do is go to Haunted PSXRP, Render Pipelines. My internet's being very slow, so apologies for this. I'll also cut this down. Here we go. So while that loads, what you're also going to need to do is download Git SCM. On their website there's very in-depth tutorials on how that works. You don't need to do anything programming to do that. I look a bit like Jeff the Killer right now with the slicing. Anyway, you don't need to do any programming to do that. It's just a case of downloading, installing. It's like a wizard. So that's all fine. But you have to do that to install the render pipelines because it uses Git to grab them. But you can see in this installation guide it says open the text file located in your project directory /packages/manifest.json. So what we can do, you can see all my errors there where I was doing it without this because I just forgot, because I'm really good at tutorials. Anyway, so we can do this show and explorer, which will take us to our project. And that's just a quick way to get to it. So we then go from our directory to packages, manifest.json. We copy this line right here. You can see, if I can drag it over. So we just paste it in right at the bottom, just like that. Should be fine. It's not got a comma after it should be fine. So yeah, we can close it down now. Okay, so our package is now installed. Now we've added it to the JSON file. So you're thinking, okay, nothing's changed. So something has changed. We have got Haunted PS1 at the top. So we make sure we're just in our assets directory, no other folders. Well, you can, but it's just easier if it's in your assets. So you create these, and you go edit, project settings, and in your graphics you have to make sure that the render pipeline asset is set to the PSX render pipeline. Sorry, my computer's being very slow. So then we simply select that from there. Now you'll see you can't really see the grid in a minute, and that's because it's not rendering a skybox. So the way around this is, and this is how you do most of the Haunted PS1 stuff, create a global volume. Now, the volume profile, we just create a new volume profile. This is our global volume profile. If you create other ones for like individual camera effects, you can do that. Just create a new one and rename it, that's fine. And then set it to local. It will need a collider, set it to its trigger, then it won't collide with anything. So from there we can add overrides. We have this Haunted PS1 tab now. If you haven't installed it correctly, you won't have this. So what we're going to do first off is add a sky volume. We're going to select all. Also need to add a camera volume, and we absolutely need to tick this. I made this mistake a lot of times. There is this camera volume, clear depth before UI rendering. You don't untick this one. I mean you can, but you untick this one and your UI will then be drawn behind 3D objects, otherwise it's just going to draw on top of everything. You have other options here like frame limit enabled. You can set a frame limit, which can be really effective for getting that like retro aesthetic. Yeah, lots of really cool stuff in here. And the other thing you need if you're making a first person 3D game is to untick this and untick this. And those will make sure that when you're colliding with stuff, it doesn't distort the geometry too much. This is fine for top-down games, but if you're a first person, it can make it a bit harder to navigate. We have a setting called a fine texture working here. We can turn this down or up. This will change how much the textures wiggle when you're walking around, which shouldn't be an issue most of the time. Anyway, we have more things. So we have lighting volume, which is absolutely essential. Click this one, lighting is enabled. Now we're on to the next step. This is a kind of difficult step if you haven't done it before, but we're about to start doing baked lighting. So I'm going to just add a cube, and I'm going to add a plane, just so we have something we can render. I'm going to put that there, I'm going to put that here. So you'll notice these are just completely flat lit, they've got no shading on them, even though there's a directional light in the scene. That is because we're using baked lighting now. So we go to this directional light, you can see it says mixed, that is fine. You don't need to change it to baked because we can enable directional real-time lights. But what you do need to do, which is a little bit annoying, is every 3D object in a scene, you need to tick this box, contribute global illumination. Really important, otherwise it will not take it into light maps. So then once we've done that, the next step to do is to go rendering lighting, and create new lighting settings. Again, do this while you're in your assets one, otherwise it's going to be in some random folder. So we can do that, then we can click auto generate to start baking the lighting, or you can click generate lighting, and you can see some things are going on here, and there's a loading bar down here. Now, you don't need to worry about this loading bar so much. If you want to just hop into play mode, you can, but it's just showing that it's like rendering things essentially. So if you were to switch to these windows, you could see where it's baking the lighting. So this is what I think anyway, I'm not super experienced. This is the UVs in the scene. I think this is a cube, and I think this is a plane. And it's baking where the lighting is. So technically you could create your own and do this, I think. But Unity will make it for you. So you can see the loading bar has gone up. Okay, so there's one more thing I forgot, and I'm really sorry about this. We need to add the quality of row volume. This is really important. We can switch that off. It just goes back to flat color. We need this. And you might think, well, this is too intense. I can't deal with, you know, how intense this texture is. That's fine, we can deal with that. So what we do is we go cathode ray volume, we click all, and then we can untick it. So you can now see, you know, there's like compression and stuff going on, but the TV effect is gone because we've disabled it. If we did have it, we can change the texture to be all of these different types of, I guess just filters to go over the TV. We can set a custom texture as well, which is fine. But for the purposes of this, we'll turn it off, set it up however you like. But because this is still one of the PS1 render pipelines, we're gonna have, no matter what you do, these kind of boxy edges, these kind of not anti-alias edges, which is part of it. But this filter over the top we can turn down. Oh, and to get rid of this effect here, we go back to the camera volume. You can see we have this rasterization resolution. We can change these values to make it more or less compressed. So you can see this is like really weird looking. I can't really see X making any changes for some reason, but we can, you know, set it, turn it off. But if you turn it up, then it's gonna, you know, it's gonna get less. There'll still be a little bit, like you can kind of see there's a little bit going on. But yeah, so that's kind of what you need. So if we were to go into the game view, you can see, you know, it's got these weird lines and stuff. I've obviously, you know, made it really, really high rasterization resolution, so we can change that down. We can make it a bit, you know, not as precise. And yeah, so the other thing we can do is we can add lights, and we can have baked lights. So we can have a point light. You can see the light quality is less because that's the effect we're going for. We can turn it up, we can turn it down. This is real time, but we can also bake it in. So if you wanted an object to, like, you know, you can see the shading here. If you wanted it to rotate around and still have that shading that's static, you can do that. You can bake it in. You can do this with any Unity project, but just for the sake of this, for making it look old, there's going to be some, you know, objects in a PS2 game or a PS1 game that will have big lighting and will be like moving and stuff. So that's just another way to add chime. So essentially what we've done, we've installed Git SCM, we've changed the JSON file, we've created a global volume, we've created profile, we've created all of these volumes here. Now the most important is the quality override volume, is the camera volume, and is the sky volume. We can set up what our sky texture is here. Oh wait, not there. Give me 2 seconds. We can set up our sky texture here if you wanted a different skybox. So we set up our sky volume. You can change it from fog color to background color to skybox. I like skybox. You can have it as a skybox. You can put in any skybox, but that's it's default. So yeah, and we've changed the rasterization resolution. In the camera volume, we have cleared depth before UI rendering, which is really, really important. And there's also after background rendering. Because if you don't set these, then it will draw over your 3D objects no matter where you are in the world. So that's basically it. I'm going to edit this up because this is a really long recording, low-key. But I just hope this helps you. If you have any questions, I've been working with this quite heavily for the last kind of month or so feel free to leave it in the comments. Yeah, good luck. I look forward to seeing what you guys make. This is a really cool project. I really like on the PS1. It's got a lot of potential. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope this helps. Bye bye.